April 7, 1945. Tokyo Bay, Empire of Japan. Dawn breaks over the island nation, painting the horizon in muted shades of gold and crimson. From the clouds, a distant roar rises, a sound that will change the course of the sky above the imperial capital forever. 91 P-51D Mustangs, sleek and deadly, slice through the morning haze. The 15th and 21st Fighter Groups are approaching their rendezvous point. Each aircraft a symbol of American industrial might and relentless precision. In the cockpit of his Mustang, Major James B. Tapp grips the control stick. 6 wing-mounted .50 caliber M2 Browning machine guns, loaded with armor-piercing incendiary rounds, glint under the first light of day. Below, Mount Fuji rises from the landscape like a sentinel, its snow-capped peak a silent witness to what is about to unfold. April 7th, 1945. Over the vast Pacific Ocean, 91 P-51D Mustangs cut through the clouds. Their mission, to escort B-29 superfortresses deep into the heart of Japan. No one has ever flown single-engine fighters this far over open ocean. Commanders said it couldn't be done, yet here they are. As the formation nears Tokyo, the impossible becomes reality. Land-based American fighters appear above the imperial capital, defying logic, defying expectation. On the ground, sirens wail. From airfields across the region, Japan's best rise to meet them. Nakajima Ki-84 Hayates, the feared Frank, alongside the older Ki-43 Hayabusa, Ki-44 Shoki, Ki-61 Hen, and Navy N-1K2J Shidenkai. On paper, the Hayate is fast, agile, deadly. But the skies above Tokyo will tell a far more brutal story. The P-51D Mustang, a masterpiece of engineering, a perfect fusion of American aerodynamics and the British Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. Built with precision, forged by an industry that never slept. Its Packard-built Merlin 1650-7 engine delivered 1,695 horsepower at takeoff, and an emergency power, 1720, twin superchargers kept it breathing strong at altitudes where Japanese engines gasped for air. Maximum speed, 440 miles per hour at 25,000 feet. Service ceiling, nearly 42,000. Armed with 6.50 caliber Browning machine guns, 1,880 rounds of pure surgical destruction. But in Japan, the story was different. Japanese pilots fought bravely, yet their machines were fragile, unpredictable, and often broken. The Ki-84 Frank could be powerful, but only if perfectly maintained. 0-second hours. The sky over Tokyo erupts. More than 100 Japanese interceptors converge from every direction. White smoke trails slash across the morning air as Ki-84s dive toward the Mustangs. But the Americans are in control. The P-51D pilots dive, fire, and climb away with surgical precision. Their speed, their discipline, unmatched. Japanese formations begin to break apart. Wingmen hesitate, engines cough, aircraft stall. The sky becomes chaos. But a chaos the Mustangs command. Lieutenant Jerry Yellen would later recall it simply. By 25,000 feet, they were wallowing like fish out of water. We dove through them, our 50s blazing like lightning. Their engines smoked, their planes trembled. We owned the sky, and they knew it. Japanese pilots looked to the horizon and saw what they thought was impossible. Captain Yoshio Yoshida, flying a Ki-84, would later write in his diary, "Mustangs over Tokyo. I thought I was dreaming. Our commanders said no fighter could reach this far. Yet they were here, as if they owned our sky. In that moment, I knew the war was lost." But while the Japanese faced shock and disbelief, the Americans faced endurance. Each Mustang pilot flew 1,500 miles. Round trip, over endless ocean, guided only by compass and dead reckoning. 8 hours in a single-engine aircraft. No room to stand, no way to stretch. Fighting fatigue, fighting gravity, trusting instruments, and sheer will to make it home. The story of the P-51D over Tokyo is as much a story of factories, refineries, and logistics as it is of courage. Each Mustang consumed 600 gallons of 100-octane fuel per mission. Each carried 1,880 rounds of ammunition. American supply chains delivered millions of gallons of fuel, spare parts, and bombs across the Pacific with relentless efficiency. Japan, by contrast, struggled to keep its machines flying. Fuel shortages were severe. They cannibalized aircraft, improvised with pine resin, sweet potato alcohol, even sake byproducts. By August 1945, Japanese aviation fuel reserves could barely sustain one major operation. Pilots often flew with half-trained replacements, unreliable engines, and crumbling infrastructure. The odds were stacked, mathematically against them. Over Tokyo, the Mustangs ruled the skies. The P-51D's speed, maneuverability, and firepower made Japanese interception almost impossible. Engagements at 25,000 feet were devastating. Ki-84s struggled to climb, stalled in the thin air, or suffered mechanical failures mid-combat. American pilots executed dive attacks at 500 miles per hour. Zoom climbs, precision strafing runs. By the war's end, kill ratios of 20-1, even 30-1, were common. Every sortie reinforced a stark truth. Japanese skies were no longer theirs. The myth of invincibility, the divine wind, had been shattered. The math of industrial and technological advantage was cruel but indisputable. Between July 1st and August 15th, 1945, 85 American fighter pilots were lost on very long-range missions, mostly to weather or mechanical failure. Japanese losses numbered in the hundreds. Entire squadrons annihilated in futile attempts to intercept. By mid-August, the air war over Japan had become a demonstration of inevitability. Resistance was no longer possible. Out of 3,514 K-84s built, only one survives today, a lonely reminder of Japan's desperate struggle. Hundreds of P-51 Mustangs survive worldwide, many still flying, their Merlin engines singing the song of industrial triumph. The Mustang over Tokyo was more than a plane. It was the embodiment of American innovation, industrial power, and strategic precision. It proved a fundamental lesson of modern warfare. Courage alone cannot overcome production, technology, and logistics. The P-51D Mustang changed the Pacific War. It turned distance into a non-factor and shattered illusions of invulnerability. Its roar over Mount Fuji was a signal that the age of the samurai had ended. Aluminum wings, Merlin engines, and the mathematics of industrial might had conquered the divine wind. April 7th, 1945, over Tokyo, was not just a battle. It was a revelation. For those who flew the Mustangs and those who watched from below, it was proof that in the modern age, supremacy in the sky is won long before the first shot is fired, at the factory, in the cockpit, and across the oceans of relentless preparation.